Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, a production of the American All-Star Series, presented by PPM Racing Products. I'm Allie Stedman, and I'm joined tonight with the CEO of the American All-Star Series, Joseph Rush.
Hi, Allie. It's good to be here tonight. Good to have our second episode up and running of Off the Dirt. Really excited about that, and hope you're doing well.
Yeah, and then we have some special stuff planned for you guys tonight. We are streaming straight to our Facebook pages, our personal Facebook pages, our series Facebook page, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube tonight.
Yeah, we're really excited to have all these different feeds available. You can find those down on the bottom of the screen right now. We've got a lot of great platforms to go out. And actually, Ryan Bowling from Dirt to Media, our streaming partner, said that he was going to try to get it on the AmericanAllStars.tv website. So, if you're watching, go check out our website, see if it's working. Give us some feedback on that. Ryan said he was going to be monitoring that as well. So it's already got some comments coming in, folks. Bring them in, and if you've got especially some comments for our special guest tonight, we want to talk about that as well. So, Allie, but before we get going into our guest, you have some exciting news.
Yeah, so we obviously had our first episode last Wednesday, and we've already got a new partner for the Off the Dirt podcast. That it is Firefly Token. Firefly is a unique high burn token that rewards long-term holders with a team of dedicated developers and an engaged community. It's also a token you can feel good about investing in. Each transfer or sale incurs 15% burn rate, 5% of which goes directly to charitable causes. For us at Firefly, the primary cause we support is the conservation of fireflies. The global population is approaching extinction, and with your support, we hope to reverse that trend. So we've entered this new partner for 2022 of the Off the Dirt podcast. Joe, tell us a little bit about Firefly.
Yeah, really excited to be working with Firefly. Not only do they have a great cause, I mean, we all loved fireflies when we were kids, but they're trying to help save that population. So it's a crypto that you can get behind when you're buying the currency, knowing that you're supporting saving the fireflies as well. And it's actually a crypto that both you and I own some shares of, Allie.
Yes, I'm invested in it. Joseph's invested in it. So maybe one day me and Joe can make some money off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at their platform and what they've got set up, there's no reason we shouldn't be making a good deal of money off of it long term.
Absolutely. So with that, we would like to welcome our special guest for segment one, the money winner of the American All-Star Series for 2021. He won multiple 10,000s with the American All-Stars this season. So we'd like to welcome in Dillon Brown.
Dillon, it's good to have you with us tonight.
Hey, how are y'all doing tonight? Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Dillon, we know you've won a lot of races with the American All-Stars. So we just have a few questions for you. We're just going to bounce back and forth, just have a good conversation here about your 2021 season with the American All-Star Series.
And that's where we want to start, Dillon. It's good to have you with us. Glad to have you on the show tonight. First time we've had you on with us live at all with the series, even before we started the podcast when we were doing lives. You've never been on with us, so we're glad to have you as a part of this tonight. But, tell us about your 2021 season and what made you so successful during the season.
Well, it's just not just 2021. It's just, I guess I'd say my career in a whole, it's just a build up to this season and maybe hopefully seasons beyond that. But racing is like anything else. It's about the people you put around you. And I've just been fortunate enough, like I said, it's just been building and able to get the right people around me at the right time in the right equipment, and the good Lord blessed me and just allowed things to go my way. And, it takes a lot of luck. Yeah, I was lucky in a lot of those and good in some of them. And it takes a lot of both of those things to be successful in any race, and much less a 10,000 win race.
Absolutely. So we want to know. So we want to know truthfully about how about the first time you raced with the series? Like, how did you feel about it then? And then what made you change, or what your perception of the series is now?
Well, see, actually, the first time, I don't know, I guess Joe remembers this. I come to Smoky Mountain, and I was in a Bloomquist car, and I wasn't that good. I think I ran 7th or 8th or something. But I blamed a lot of it then on my car. I was like, I'm just not there yet. My car's not in the right place. And so we loaded up, went back home, and then we come to Bull's Gap, and one of my Longhorns at the end of 20 for the 15,000 that whole weekend. I think there's 3 races for there, isn't there, Joe? Just 2.
2 races that weekend.
Yeah, 2. Okay, well, there are 2. Well, anyways, I was in a B main of every night, like middle of a B main. We've struggled terribly. And the last night after the heat race, I don't know, we run somewhere next to last. I got back to the holler and I pulled my car straight in. My dad said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're going home." He said, "You ain't gonna try to run the B main?" I said, "No, I've had enough." And all the way back down the road, I told my brother, I said, "We ain't run these guys anymore. We can't keep up. I don't know, just something about these hard tires. We ain't no good." So we come back home and we worked on our stuff and revisited some of my equipment and revamped my program. Me and my brother and a guy that's come on board helped me this year, Russell, and with some of my Penske shocks with Wyatt Hardison helping me. We've done a lot of testing and a lot of work, and finally got my race car balanced. So, it made a big difference from the first few times I pulled in. And I've told everybody just ask me, when you go race with those guys up there, you better have your stuff right, and you better be confident in what you're doing and confident in your equipment, because those guys know how to get around those racetracks.
Absolutely. And I've got a couple questions over here in the comments. Keep those coming in. We'll save those for the end of our segment here with Dillon tonight. So if you got any other questions for Dillon, I see one for sure, but keep those coming in. Dillon, so at first you hated it, and now you run with us a lot, and you drive a long way to do that. So why do you choose to come race with the All-Stars and not elsewhere?
Well, I wouldn't say I hated it. I hated getting beat, Joe.
That's right.
I didn't hate racing with you guys, because the first thing I noticed when I went through tech the first time I come was how thorough the tech was, and that was in 2020. And I wasn't even winning; it was just a pre-race tech. And I noticed how thorough, how we took shock covers off and we took dash panels off, and we really done a lot of teching. And I was like, man, well, if we get beat, at least we'll get beat straight up. So it wasn't that I hated it; I just did not get beat. But and a lot of the reason I come and race with you is for the points I just hit. Like, when you get beat, when you have to ride back down the road, whether it's 30 minutes or 4 hours, it don't matter. I want to know that I got beat by a guy that done his homework better than me and beat me either in the pits or in the seat, not because of some other malfunctioning or something trick that he's got that I don't have, or cheating. Let's just call it like it is. I want to know I got beat straight up. And I feel like when I come with your races, I know that if I get beat, I got beat straight up. And I'm confident in the ones that I didn't win, because there was quite a many I didn't win with you that, I got beat straight up. I didn't get beat because somebody out cheated me. I got beat because they were better than me on that night. And, it's unheard of for anybody to pay $10,000 to win for a one-night show in a crate late model. That's almost unheard of. And, it's cool to leave home. My wife and my little boy, who's in there crying now, I can hear him. But, it's cool to leave on Friday and get to go race for $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 somewhere, and then ride down the road a couple of hours and race again for $10,000 on Saturday and get to come back home. Most times you'd have to leave on Thursday and go practice and qualify and then heat race. And, it's just a long, drawn out process for the same amount of money. So, but the most important part is the teching and just the way you go about things, man. You run a first class operation, and I don't think that many people that's ever raced with you couldn't say the same thing.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Dillon.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
That's a really great way to put it. Is, that's how I am competitively. I would like to be beat fair and square rather than unfairly. But so I want to know about your finishes with the series. So obviously you had some really great finishes this past season. So how many races did you win with us this past season, and what was I want to know truthfully what your worst finish with us was.
I think I run 11 total. I think I was counting the other night, and I guess I won 4. I think the worst I finished was 4th, and I finished 4th twice, once at Princeton and once at Smoky Mountain.
It's not too bad. And then 3 out of those 4 were 10,000s, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. So what was your most memorable moment in 2021?
Man, as I look back over a lot of, obviously this has been my biggest year to date. And as far as, I didn't win as many races as I've won in other years, but obviously the amount of money and the stakes of the race and the prestige to the races were greater this year. So I guess you would call this my best year. But there's been moments in my career to where certain things have stood out because, obviously I'm a family-owned operation, so my mom and dad and my wife and my grandma and grandpa and my brother and his wife, that we all go to the race together, especially when I'm close. So, but it's just been mainly being me and my brother. We've done all this a lot of this by ourselves, with other people just, helped along the way. I'm not taking anything from those guys. So, but what I'm trying to say is the bigger races I've always won, my brother's always been there. So my first 5,000 was at Swainsboro, Georgia. And he was there. We won it on a 100-lap deal. Guy leading the race blew out with a few laps to go. We wound up winning the race, and it paid 5,000. Well, the same thing happened at Beckley. It was my first 10, and the guy that usually helps me couldn't go. My dad and Warren were there, but I just remember my brother meet me at the scales, and I can see the tears in his eyes because without that guy, I wouldn't be on this phone call with y'all tonight. He's a lot of my success to my program, and he takes away from him racing to go help me. And I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate him. But I can just remember just seeing, how happy he was because, how hard he had worked to get me there. The only thing I'd done was hold the wheel. So Beckley was probably the most, it'll stick out the longest because I'd already won races at Charlotte, had a lot of success at Charlotte. So that was kind of almost a home game for me to where all those other places are, those guys is more familiar with those racetracks than me. Charlotte, I was a little more familiar with, but anytime you can win at Charlotte, I don't want to downplay Charlotte or Woodsville. Anytime you can win $10,000 in a crate car, it's a memorable moment, and I'll remember all of them for as long as I live. But I guess Beckley, because of the just my brother and Victory Lane, like I just just mine and his bond, I'll just remember that one forever.
I remember seeing Jacob at a lot of races this year, and he came to the teardowns with you too. And he was there with you at the teardowns, and he sat through all that too. So each and every time we tore down your motor for you, Dillon. But as we look forward, 2021 was excellent. How much are we going to see in 2022?
Man, as bad as I hate to say this, I don't know. I've always just raced locally, and then we bought a Super last year, and that was my plan last year. Well, we got to going with my crate car, and we got going really well, so it was hard to park that thing. So we just kept on coming and going and kept winning, so we just kept going. So I don't know. We've been saying for months we're going to East Bay in a few weeks, so I say I'll start there, and then I'm going to come to I-75 and start there with you guys, and I'm going to hit all the big ones and, some in between. But it's just hard with the way we work with our schedule, because we own and operate our own family business too. It's hard for me to say that I'll be at this one, this one, and this one. I just kind of have to see what Monday looks like and say, well, yeah, we can go this weekend, or no, I don't know if we can. So it's hard for me to be honest with you, but I'll be at the 10s and a good bit of the 5s. I can tell you that.
That's what we like to hear. Allie, before we go into the next question, let's go ahead and look at some question. Well, the one question we've got over here from a commenter. Cody Early said it was a blast calling your races this year. He was calling the races on Grassroots. He wants to know which one was the toughest.
Well, I guess you would have to say Charlotte. I passed her what would be the last lap to win that 10,000, but that I think back over Beckley. So Carson sat on the pole that night. I qualified on the outside pole. That's how we started the race. And I got the lead on the first lap, but he breathed down my neck the whole race until he eventually fell out. So that one wasn't the easy one. And then Dome was at the end, was there with a chance and held him off. And then when I think back to Whitfield, man, Corey Hitchcock done everything, but he was to the deck lid every lap for the last 20. So that one was tough too. So there wasn't none of them easy. They were all tough. I'm gonna say probably holding Corey off at Whitfield was the toughest because I moved every lap, moved my entry points every lap. I done flat out exhausted everything I had and all but lost that race.
Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was fun to watch you at each and every event that you competed at with us. Made the long haul with me once to Crossville as well this season, and you ran second there. But, it was fun to watch you at our events all season long. I always ran and respected each and every other competitor on the track.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Allie.
No, you go ahead.
But that's the way I race, man. You know, that's what I was just saying a while ago about Corey and Carson and Zach and passing Jason at Charlotte. Like every one of those guys, nobody never laid a quarter pound on anybody, and we're racing for 10 grand. You don't see that much, man. And I respect that, and I respect those guys. That's the way I want to race. I understand how much this equipment costs, you know, and I understand how hard it is to work on them. And, you know, I want to come home to my family as much as I can throughout the week, not rebuild race cars because of ignorance. So I race everybody the way I want to be raced. And, you know, I give as much as I can. And I expect the guy next to me to give as much as he can. Don't get me wrong. Rubbing's racing, you know, and I don't mind rubbing, but there's some guys don't understand the difference in rubbing and wrecking. And I don't like the wrecking part.
Absolutely. We don't either. So, Allie, go ahead.
So pretty much, I just want to know, like, do you have any new sponsors for 2022, or who helped you get down the road in 2021, and who's going to help you this year?
Well, I have actually didn't really, because I wasn't able to make it to PRI this year. And, but I talked to a few more different people that, you know, that wasn't maybe technically a product sponsor, and, didn't think I was going to have anything come through for me. And we started designing my wrap, and I told Ray's Wraps, which is a sponsor of mine that does my wraps, to let's go ahead and get started and print them. Well, I called him back yesterday and I said, hey man, I'm going to hold up on that. I had somebody call, so I'm not going to say anything yet, but we're still working on something else. But my main sponsor is this Cherokee Landscaping, which my mom and dad and my grandma and grandpa own. Without that deal, this would none of this be possible. And then Warren at Performance Automotive, and Tim Tyner at Renegade Fuels, and like I said, Kevin Ray at Ray's Wraps, Andrew at Profab, Steve Hendren Racing Engines. Man, that guy's been, every time Joe's tore me down, he's always been able to get me back together to roll on to the next one. So, and those him and Mike have done a lot, and Alex, they've done really a lot to help me, and Kate with Crate Insider, and Pro System Brakes, and I think I said Andrew at Profab. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but Andrew's been really good to me for a long time now. And Russell with RK Designs, MBI Construction. There's just so many I could go on for. Wyatt Hardison with at Penske Racing Shops or Hardison Shop Technologies, Longhorn Chassis. I mean, I got so many people that make my deal possible, and it takes each and every one of them, because, you know, it takes a team. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you know, it's about putting the people around you. And everything's not always about money or products or give you this or give you that, but it's just about the insight that you can get from each one of those people. Because a lot of time those guys that are in those positions have talked to a lot of other people, and, you know, they have a lot of knowledge on certain areas that you may need them. And I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to race with you guys, and just to race in general, you know, and to have the opportunity to be successful. And it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, you know, and without Russell and my brother, my dad, Warren, those are the people that run up and down the road with me. This wouldn't be possible. And my wife too, you know, staying here and keeps my little boy and allowing me to get home at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday mornings.
Absolutely. And Dillon, you mentioned those relationships, so important in this sport, for you, for us. You know, I think Allie could speak on that too. She's learning this side of the sport and the business, and it's the most important part. I mean, without the relationships, none of us are successful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just, you know, I don't care who you are or how long you've been doing it. There's going to be a time where you're going to get in a bind or have a question, and you're going to need somebody to lean on. So if you got yourself surrounded by 4 or 5 really smart people that you can pull a little bit here from, a little bit there from, you know, and ask them and lean on those guys, then you're a lot more successful if you're out there by yourself, or if you just got 1 or 2 people. So, you know, but sometimes that room can get too crowded too. You know, I've been in those situations to where you got 5 opinions and may all be wrong. So that's what that's just my take on it. I'm not saying it's the right way or wrong way or whatever, but I just feel like the more people you can put around you that understand your program and the direction you want to head, and the way you want your race car to handle or feel, or in your situation, the way you want your business to run, and the way you want it to be seen, you know, then the better off you are. And you get all those people thinking in the same direction and working in the same direction, and you really got yourself something.
That's great. I got a young racer, actually from here in West Virginia, that's got a question for you. He ran a 6:02 with us when we raced at Beckley last year. Got in an accident in the B main, so he wants to know, Dillon, what's the best advice you could give someone who's just getting into crate racing?
I don't know. I mean, I do know. Like, I mean, it's a tough sport. I mean, you know, and there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And dude, I guess I'm at year 11 or 12 now. I don't even know crate racing, and it's taken me this long. You know, 5 years ago, I couldn't even dream of doing what I've done this year. Maybe not even last year. Obviously I couldn't last year. I couldn't even make the race. So, you know, like, it's just a matter of just riding your waves and not giving up on yourself. You know, I mean, I understand this. It's fine. It's a big financial burden, but it's a dream of mine. This is my dream. I'm living my dream, and it's taken a lot of people to get me here, but just always believe in yourself, man, and just keep digging. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. And the more time you put in, it's like anything else. It's like I was telling somebody the other day, like, I was watching a video from Beckley. I don't know, one of the races I raced with y'all. And they said, why are you watching that video? I was one I won. You already know you won. I said, yeah, but on whatever lap it was, I said, I made a mistake in lap traffic, and I want to know why I made that mistake. And I watched that same part of that video 4 or 5 times. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And so even now, like, just keep working on your craft and keep trying to better yourself, because once you get really comfortable with yourself and in your equipment, you'll be hard to beat, man. Just keep digging.
That's some really good advice. I know that you guys put a lot of work in on your cars, and then the sponsors that help you guys go around. And then we have Eric Irwin saying good luck in 2022. And
thank you, Eric.
He hopes he runs with you. So you got some fans out here. You had a really impressive 2021 season. We can't wait for you to run with us in 2022. Dillon, we want to thank you for joining in tonight with us. He says thank you for
Yes,
we just want to thank you for joining in on Off the Dirt for us. Hopefully we can get you back in sometime within the race season this year. Dillon, thank you. And with that, the first segment has ended, so we're going to have a quick word from our title sponsor, PPM Racing Products. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we're back with Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. We just got done with our first segment with Dillon Brown, our special guest, the money winner of the 2021 season. Joe, we had an exciting weekend, so tell us a little bit about what we did this weekend.
Yeah, I don't want to say sorry to Dillon there. I started to say one more thing right before we started the commercial. So, Dillon, if you're still watching, I apologize for that. But, Allie, we had our banquet this past weekend. It was very well done. I put you on the spot last minute and said, Allie, will you do the intro for the banquet? And as always, you never tell me no when it comes to something for the series. And you did a great job, and we appreciate that. So I want to thank you first.
Oh, well, thank you for offering me the position to halfway embarrass myself at the banquet. So the banquet, we really just had a 2021 celebration, right? So we just celebrated the drivers and their hard work for the season and all they've done for the series this year and helped us do what we have to do. And it was really nice to get to see everybody from the 2021 season since we haven't raced since October. So it was just really nice getting to see everybody. So what kind of drivers were there, Joe?
We had a mix of both touring and weekly drivers in attendance. Logan Roberson was there, Jimmy Webb representing Zach Seiss, second place in points, and Trevor Seiss was there, and Brandon Miller was there celebrating his Rookie of the Year season on the touring side.
Mm-hmm. So we had touring and weekly people, and then we had some people who filled in for some of our employees that were unable to make it. So we want to thank Nikki Moon for filling in for photos and pictures of the banquet. She did a really good job of capturing the moment of those guys getting their awards and making their speeches. And then we also had some good food. You got a good menu going there for the banquet, Joe.
Yeah, the good thing about being the CEO of the series is you get to pick the menu, so I get to make sure that it's foods I like. So, it was foods I liked. I thought the food was good. The chicken was excellent, so I appreciate the Holiday Inn for the good food. And speaking of Nikki capturing the pictures, Allie, you got to fill in as a trophy girl for the first time ever for the series as well.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. Because Joe made me carry like 8 things to the driver when they got their awards, so I had to look like I was a pack mule walking over to the banner. But yeah, I would like to say my trophy girl days are short lived.
One and done, right?
Yeah, one and done.
But it's greatly changed since 2019 because a good buddy of ours on the series was actually the trophy girl in 2019.
Rain Man.
That's right. Our old buddy Jesse Raines did it for us in 2019. So, that was, I could say things have definitely changed since then. And probably I think most would agree for the better in that department.
Well, Jesse Raines and Jesse Rush, they really help out with our series. Jesse Raines, he does everything that you ask him to do. Pretty much is like me, but in male version. So, and then we also have Jessie Rush, who works the trailer on race days, and she does all the payout and all that stuff. And it's great to have employees like Jesse Raines and Jesse Rush that help us have a great banquet and a great race day when it comes to race days.
Yeah, if you look at what Jesse Rush, my other half, does on race nights, she keeps the can't talk. She keeps the trailer in order and takes care of the money and all that. So if she weren't there, Allie, I would be the one dealing with the money and all the paperwork. And that might not be so good for the series come end of the year at tax time.
Let's just hope Jessie just always comes, because I don't really want to see what happens when you do her job.
That's right. It probably would not be pretty. And then as far as Jesse Raines go, like you said, he's willing to do, just like you, anything we ask him to. And at the banquet, he filled in as the
doorman.
The doorman. That's right. So Jesse Raines was the doorman at the banquet. But on race night, Jesse's done everything except work in the tower. So I guess you do have him on that, Allie. I'm not sure that we could ever put Jesse working on the race saver.
Yeah. We'd have to put a little bleeper in there so we wouldn't hear all his cuss words all the time. But
that's right.
Yeah, and then speaking of, pretty much we've come to the realization that Joe, Jesse, and I have pretty much been a little family. Me and Jesse Raines called Joe and Jesse mom and dad. So we got to have Sunday where nobody had to do anything when we got done on Saturday night. So we had a little Pigeon Forge fun day.
That's right. And we promised people that this podcast would not just be serious, because you said, Joe, people really need to get to know your personality, because on race day, I focus on making the show great and doing the best I can. Oh, before we move on, going back chasing fireflies. But I did want to mention that Robert Garby and his wife Sandy were at our banquet, our number one fans. So we appreciate them coming as well. But anyways, so you said, Joe, I really think people need to, because you've got to see my personality a little bit. You behind the scenes working with me, taking trips with me, especially going to PRI. I think, you really got to see that I'm not always just strict and wanting everything to be perfect.
Yeah. And, we got to really just celebrate the season ourselves as employees and as people who work for the series. We put on a great 2021 season for the drivers, for fans, and that's exactly what I was about to get to, Joshua Patch.
We've got to talk about this twice, because we started and ended today, so we'll start with it and we'll come back, right?
Yeah, we started out the day with me putting a whooping on them and go-karts.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. In your mind, at least, right? So talking about our Pigeon Forge adventure.
We'll get there.
That's another great question, Josh Patch, because Allie is the dirtiest go-kart driver in the country. She wrecked me. I had the line, and she turned in on me.
We have some viewers right now, and I want people's opinions in the comments about this. So I'm going to tell it how it happened. So in the go-kart, we were at Blake Jones in Pigeon Forge. At the go-kart track, you go up a hill, and then you have to go around a curve. I was in my line in the inside. And Joseph comes on my inside where there's no room and hits me in my back quarter panel and spins me out in the wall. But it's my fault. I was the leader, and he spun me out. So I
Allie,
to comment and say that was not my fault.
I'm just going to tell you that you didn't tell the complete truth because I was already there and had the line. So, that's why we don't make judgment calls on the series, because everyone sees each accident a different way.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but that put us behind Jesse Raines. So then we lost to Jesse Raines because we got lapped like 8 times before the staff would come get us. Actually, we went back after later in the day, so
yes,
we'll get to that.
We have a really good story about later in the day. So, all right. So then we ventured over, and we were going to go race go-karts at another track, but the track was wet, so we ended up playing laser tag. And we found out that the ladies of the group are not quite as good as the guys of the group when it comes to that.
Tony said he needs a black flag. Thank you, Tony. I agree. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not very good at laser tag, but also me and Jesse weren't very good because the boys kept ganging up on us and shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
It is. And you stripped us of any kind of chance of winning. So, but after we went to laser tag,
we were Guitar Hero All-Stars.
Oh yeah, we went to Guitar Hero. We realized that we have not played in a very long time, and we still suck at the guitar.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I decided to redeem myself in mini golf.
After we went to the escape room.
Oh, yeah, we went to an escape room.
And we beat the monthly best record in the room we were in. So then the mini golf redemption after beating the monthly best record in Pigeon Forge, where thousands of people go to every month, by the way.
Yeah. So we escaped the Capone room. Is it Al Capone room?
Mm-hmm.
Al Capone room with almost 26 minutes left in the timer. So that was a monthly record there. It trapped the escape game there. And then we decided to make our way up to Gatlinburg and play some mini golf.
So we ended up doing 2 rounds. Not on purpose, but the place we went had two. They only had 1 course, but it had 9 holes, so we had to play 2 rounds. So the first round didn't go quite my way.
Yeah, so Jesse Raines came out of nowhere and just beat us all. I mean, he was doing my mom. I
like that comment right there. That's my favorite comment of the night.
I'm getting rid of you. Anyways, we were at the mini golf course, and Jesse Raines won our first round, but he only beat me by 2 points, and then I beat Joseph by 2 points.
Mm-hmm. What about round 2?
And in round 2, me and Joseph tied for first.
I can't deal with a tie. Like, I'm living now knowing that we tied for first, and there wasn't a clear winner, and that bothers me.
Yeah. That's how it was when I played soccer. Like, you would end a game in a tie.
Yeah, I could have never played soccer because I can't. That's not how you get that.
The first game that happened, I literally looked at the coach. I was like, what? This is ridiculous. Well, then we went to eat. Oh, I did. You're right, Tony.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
There's no proof that I didn't. But then we decided to go back down the mountain and go eat at the Blue Moose. And then we decided to, before we went out of town, we went back to the go-kart track.
All right. We did. That's right.
Well, we go back, and Jesse Raines, those at the go-kart track, there's that one cart that's just slow. It won't go nowhere. Well, Jesse Raines had that. I give him that. He did have a very slow cart.
I think he was just slow, Allie. I don't think it was so much that it was. I think he just was slow in that race. I think he forgot how to drive.
Well,
And I beat you in that race. I was first, so I wasn't last. You were last, Allie, in that race. You were last.
Listen, this is another thing I need people's comments on. If he says that he won, okay, so we're about to lap Jesse Raines because he was just slow. He's the only race car driver out of us three. And the red light comes on. So when there's a red light, you stop or slow down. So we didn't get to lap Jesse Raines. But then Joe just swoops in and enters the pits before I do. So if you go up to Joseph and say, I entered the pits first, that means I win. Is anybody going to give you that money that you won for first place? No, I won because I made it. I was ahead, and then you ignored the flagman.
There was no flagman, and in a go-kart track, it's a little different because you race till you get in the pits. So, once we raced our way into the pits, that's just how it works at the go-kart track. I got in there before you. I sent it, and I made it, and I won.
Oh, Bonnie can get him to turn it up.
That's what we need next time we're there.
Well, then we were the only peoples in this. We were the only people in this place that were running, and I don't know much about actual driving a race car, but Joe and Jesse do. So I was, we were out there giving a good race, and then they let you run for a minute, and then they pull you back in. Well, we all had 3 rides, and that was only our first ride. So we just went ahead and gave them 2 tickets, and they let us ride for 2 rounds. And Jesse immediately gets out of his car and says, I'm changing carts. Because it was so slow. And it wasn't because he was a bad driver, Joshua Patch. It was because he had a slow cart.
Jesse must not be watching us tonight because I've not heard anything from the peanut gallery from him. So, this is what we need to happen, Allie, right here.
See, this is something my mom can comment about because I do this every time. Anytime there's like a delivery truck that doesn't have a name on it or it has like a trailer or anything, I look out the window and I'm like, oh, Mom, they brought my race car. So, Robert, I may hit you up so I can borrow your car.
Maybe, if Robert's willing, maybe one night after the races, we could all just stick around and he could let us all take a turn out there. If he's being serious, we could probably go out there and go about 2 miles an hour around the track. Look at that.
Hi,
So
Rusty.
It's actually Rusty, and he spotted for Blake in NASCAR. So Blake Jones has been good to me, Allie, over the years. That's a place we always go race go-karts when we're in Pigeon Forge. And we actually sold a T-shirt to one of the employees there one time, and I shipped it out to him. So that place has been good to the series and good to us. So, and I like this. I think your mom agrees that I won the race.
Mom, you don't understand. If nobody enters the pits and then all of a sudden they win first. No, I was winning. But anyways, we were to the Mom, just leave it. Just leave it in the past.
I like the side she's on there. I'm gonna stick with her.
Well, the second time we ran 2 rounds straight. They didn't take us off the track.
I think it was more than 2, honestly, Allie.
I think we literally ran about a full 50 lap feature in that go-kart track.
So tell them about it.
Well, we all had a pretty good car. So we were all about the same speed besides Jesse. I think he was just the better driver than us two.
I think it was slightly slower. He just had the line and we couldn't get by him. Yeah.
So in that same curve, that I got wrecked on, where Joseph wrecked me, in that same curve, if you went on Jesse's outside to try to pass him, the person behind you would just scoot into the inside and pass you. So me and Joseph were just racing our hind ends off behind Jesse because we couldn't pass Jesse.
But we were trying.
We had the 15, 16 people standing there waiting on their turn, watching us race, and they were really interested in our feature.
Yeah, they didn't make, I mean, they had bought their tickets. We watched them buy it. Well, at least I did while I was driving. When we get down there, I saw them at the thing.
Oh,
buy their
that's why
tickets.
you got third.
That's right. That's why I got third in that one. But I watched them buy their tickets, and they didn't come up to give their tickets. They stood and just watched us race, which was pretty cool because we were all three out there, and probably the only time that anybody ever watches me race anything, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Because Robert, I'm just gonna let you know, I'd probably hit every wall from turn 1 to 4 if I was in an actual crate car. So, yeah.
I wonder if that's a risk he's willing to take, Allie. What do you think?
I doubt it. There's a lot of money in racing.
So, well, maybe we could go to Isom where they only have one wall there on the front stretch and it's not walled all the way around the track. Maybe that'd be the place to do it.
Or I can just go to Natural Bridge and take it into the creek.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be happy with us if we did that. All right. So then you told us about this really great and exciting way to end our night, Allie, in Pigeon Forge.
Okay, so my mother knows about this trip that I went before. We went together. It's a place called Goats on the Roof, and they have live baby goats in that place. So I was like, Joe, there's a place up here that has live baby goats. Let's go see them. So we go see them. The time I went there was 3, and they were a lot smaller, a lot cuter, and they had, were playing, and I got to pet them. Well, the time that Joe went, there was only 2, and they were just laying there.
You broke Jesse Rain's heart. He was so excited. Shows that excitement that he always shows, and then you let him down, Allie. You let him down.
Well, it was different the first time.
Why is she saying this?
No, I didn't what, Mom? She's going to be our top fan.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have a top fan. Yes. So let's come back to Robert Roberts while we wait on her to answer us about the goats. So Robert Roberts says he's in. We got it, Allie. We got to ride in a race car one night. Uh-oh. Tara has joined the live.
Hi, Tara. Please let me know when this borrowing and late model occurs so I can get far away from the track. We will let you know.
Allie, it looks like you might have told us a story.
I thought it was exciting because I was petting one of the goats, and the other goat went up beside his brother and just rammed him into the fence, and it scared the absolute heck out of me. Well,
hey, Tara. Hey.
Hi.
So then we ended the night with I thought we were going to get ice cream.
Hi, Dad.
There's your dad. Hi, Allie's dad. So I thought we were going to get ice cream, so I ended up with ice cream, ended up pouring down snow, but you didn't get ice cream.
I got chocolate-covered strawberries, because you don't ever see a fudge place have chocolate-covered strawberries very often, so when you do, you have to get them.
I didn't realize that was the rule. I failed. Yep. I didn't understand the assignment, Allie.
No.
So,
well, in conclusion, it was a great weekend. We had some family fun with the whole family. So it's okay. So here's another quick story. So my senior banquet or whatever last year, they decided to send in videos of all the dads and the parents saying something to the players. And I'd say there's probably 30, 35 people at this banquet of families. And my dad puts in his video that know him. I've played softball at Emory for 4 years. And he goes, "Hey, Allie girl, it's your dad." In a video of his face. I don't know who my dad is.
So does he do this all the time now?
Yeah.
Anytime he gets a chance? That's great. I love it. All right. So, Allie, speaking to wrap our Pigeon Forge Day up, we don't get the opportunity often to do that. We're having fun here on our podcast. We're silly, we're goofy, we have a good time when we do them. But otherwise it's a serious show that you deal with unless you're with me in a truck and I'm tired and I'm telling you crazy stories. But
singing to 80s rock.
What?
Or you're singing to rock.
Yes, or I'm singing rock music. So unless you're riding with me in the truck, going to or from a race or an event, you only see the serious side of me. So so it's good to just get out with our crew and have a little fun and do something, together. And I definitely feels like that, feel like that builds chemistry amongst the staff and just helps us to be a better staff in the future.
Yes, and it helps us run a smooth show. But also, we couldn't have any of our shows without our title sponsor, PPM Racing Products. So here's a quick word from them.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just better than anything else you can get.
All right, welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. We're super excited to be here for our second episode. So we have talked about our special guest, Dillon Brown, the money winner for 2021. We've talked about our banquet. We've talked about our Pigeon Forge adventure. So now we're going to do a little bit of schedule talk. So we have about 11 weeks until the season. So we are going to do a schedule talk about 2 tracks that are upcoming in order of our schedule. And we're just going to talk some about races and who won and who performs best there. Right, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of good people that are around, and I want to give a shout out to Tony Dillo, Racers in Christ. He's the owner of Racers in Christ. He lost his brother a few weeks back, and Tony, I hope you're doing well, and be praying for that. I know that Racers in Christ actually participates a lot at Willard Speedway, and they put some money in for some of our race there last year. So just want to give Tony a shout out and let you know that we here at the series are thinking about you, and we hope to get to see you some this year. I love what Racers in Christ is, what you do, and you used to be an excellent announcer. I haven't heard you announce in a long time, so I'd like to see you around and hope you're doing well, Tony. You're welcome, sir. All right. Sorry. Back to business.
Yeah. So we're going to do that series, the schedule talk. So tell us a little bit about opening weekend at I-75, Joseph.
Yeah, Allie, like you said, 11 weeks till the season starts. That's not long, 80 days or so. And then I think it's going to be, I can't wait. I'm really thrilled and excited. So this season opener is going to be the biggest season opener weekend in series history. The first year we opened with a 2,500. Last year we were supposed to have a 2-day weekend of a 2 and a 2,500. The first one got rained out. So the second year we opened with a 25, or the second year we did a 3-day weekend and we did volunteer. COVID started up, and then we threw volunteer on at the last minute because Tennessee opened, and we went to volunteer for a 2, Smokey for a 3, and then to Crossville for a 2. So that was our second season. This past year we were supposed to have 2 races. One got rained out, and the other one was at Mountain View Speedway or Raceway, and it was a good season opener for a 2,500 to win race with 30-some cars there. But I'm telling you, Allie, this season opener at I-75 Raceway for a 2,500 to win and a 5,000 to win race, $7,500 possible on opening weekend at one racetrack. I mean, that is some serious money where guys don't even have to travel to race anywhere else. And Dillon said, one thing he really enjoys about the series is we don't do those 2-day 10s that a lot of tracks do. This is not 10 to win, but it gives you a chance at 2 start monies. And, if you have a bad night on Friday night, you have to pull in, you still get start money, come back out and try again on Saturday.
Yeah. And that's what I really enjoy about the series is we don't drag it out to 2 days, have the drivers have all that downtime. We put on a show and then we move on to the next one, or we move on to the next track. So I'm super excited about I-75 and the hopefully I'll be watching it on our app because I will not be attending the I-75 race. So it'll be the series opener, but it will not be my opener. I-75, I've been there once, and I think Eli Beats, our 2021 winner at I-75, was a great feature when he beat Corey Hedgecock for the I-75 win.
Yeah, those two raced it out so hard that night, but very clean. Just another thing Dillon mentioned earlier. They ran a very clean race. Corey had just gotten over COVID, I think, like a few days before come out of quarantine. So he was still, if you've had COVID, it takes a couple days to fully recover and get your energy back. So he had just come back, and I think for him, he would have been feeling a whole lot better. If he'd been feeling better, he'd have probably ran a little harder toward the end of the race to keep up and try to pass Eli.
Yeah. And, it's honestly impressive for Eli to beat Corey, because Corey is such he has such a great background and a racing background. And, it was impressive to see Eli pull through on that win.
Yeah, Eli's a great young man. His family is great. His dad, Jerry, his mom, and his sister Carly as well. They are just great people. His mom Linda, I forgot to say her name, but they're a great family, really great people, and just really enjoy being around them at the racetrack. And Eli didn't run with us. Eli has got a lot of races, a lot of starts with the series over the years, but he didn't run with us a whole lot in 2021 because he'd already started running some super stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 2022 we see him even less.
Yeah. So he is going to get in that super stuff. So hopefully he'll run a little bit of crates so we can see him at with the All-Star Series. But, they have a new configuration at I-75. And then they had, the legend of Randy Weaver that really dominated at I-75 on that old configuration at I-75.
Yeah, Randy won our last race at I-75. Randy dominated our 2020 season. If he rolled in, he pretty much won. It was kind of like Dillon this year. When he rolled in, it was probably a little better than Dillon's season with us this year, other than the amount of money won. He was the one that was going to win at each and every event. If he was there, you pretty much knew who the check was going to that night.
Absolutely. And by the way, I just want to throw this out there. If anybody has any comments about I-75 or any of the tracks we talked about, leave them in there. We'll talk about them and answer your comments. But and then you have Randy, who has a son, Cameron Weaver, that's going to be just as good as him possibly in the future. And speaking of Dillon, he's the winner of Crossville, and he beat Dillon at Crossville in 2021. So he may be just as big of a legend as Randy is.
Yeah. Cameron's definitely got the potential to be a household name in dirt racing in the future, and already making a good name for himself. Great young man, got a really great personality, very respectful every time he's at the track. So just another one of those people that you really enjoy being around.
Yes, sir. Our schedule is on our Facebook page. You can look under our photos. It's probably the easiest way to find it. And then it's also posted on outsidegroove.com.
And I think it's on our TV website too, AmericanAllStars.tv. Yep. So I think you can find it there as well. So, like you said, though, Cameron, a great racer, and I think he's got every bit of an opportunity to make just as big of a name, if not bigger, than his dad does if he keeps it up.
Absolutely. And it's really cool to see. It's going to be really interesting to see how much knowledge Cameron gains from his dad. His dad being a legend, especially. He's going to have a really great resource for him in the future.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Tony Dillo says thanks. Tony. Comment, we'd love to see you at some of our races. I don't know if you still do the Racers in Christ thing like you used to, or you'd set up and sell stuff, but I'm all about what the word that you're spreading and what you've done with Racers in Christ over the years. So that, and we're friends from way back. You announced at I-77, and I was there by your side in the scoring tower. So, Allie, let me tell you this story about Tony Dillo and that. When I was scoring there, At one point in time, I was hand scoring, and I was the only scorer. So it had to be right when I was doing it. So, that was that was a big deal back then, and that was before the computer stuff, Allie.
Yeah. Well, I know how to hand score, but I'm not as good as hand scoring as you, and I plan to get better at that because I was taught a complete opposite way of what Joseph hand scores like. So, and then after the I-75, we go to Lake Cumberland, our first time ever there, my first time, your first time, and the series' first time at Lake Cumberland. It's been requested by most of our drivers. So it's going to be really interesting to see us go around that 3/8 mile track.
Yeah, Allie, there's not many times that you're going to visit a track with me for the first time that I'm also visiting for the first time. So, there's a lot of tracks on the schedule you've never been to, but Cumberland is the only one on the schedule that I've never been to. We do still hope to add Ponderosa at some point back to it, and that'll be another track that we both visit for the first time as with the series. But Cumberland, I'm really excited about. Brandon Hargrove there does a great job. Has about 30 cars that run with him in crates already on a weekly basis at Cumberland.
And then I'm having that kind of car count weekly there, and having Shane Irvin, Logan Walls, Robbie Settles, Todd Kaufman, and Dalton Brown. You have all these great crate racers that come there weekly, and so I'm excited to see how many East Tennessee drivers or any of our touring drivers make that, especially if they're from around Knoxville, that 2 hour drive.
Deke goes up there a lot. Terry Poore goes up there a lot. Adam All had went up there some when he was running crates and still does in the supers. But Tony Dillo, you've been with us. Great commenter, Tony. I appreciate that. There's 24 others of you watching us right now that I know of for sure. So if you're still with us, leave us some comments on this stuff we're talking about. But Tony says it's a great track. Tony, that's April 16th. Is that right, Allie? That's April 16th. Maybe that's one you can join us at and come out and have a good time with us, Tony, if you're available.
Yep, and that will be Lake Cumberland's season opener is our touring race, and then as well as my seasoning opener for the American All-Star Series. So we're super excited about that, and I'm really interested, Joseph, on how many drivers I think are going to be there.
Yeah, I think that this race will have a huge car count just based on the weekly class that's already there. I think we could see numbers for this 3,000 win race similar to those numbers we get when we go to Smoky Mountain. I really believe that I believe truly that will be a phenomenal car count night.
I think so too, and then it's gonna be cool to see how many drivers we get from West Virginia, our Eastern Kentucky drivers, our East Tennessee drivers, and maybe we even get some drivers from down in the Carolinas.
Yeah, if Ricky Green's going to chase the championship, he's going to have to come to Cumberland. So he's not going to be able to skip that one. But I think we'll see guys like AJ Hicks, Corey Brock, Raymond Nichols, Lenny Bates, Rocky Moore, another one of our weekly competitors, there at Cumberland that come over and race. And Allie, meant to talk to you about this earlier during our talk on the banquet, but those weekly competitors are drivers that you and I want to help people know better, just like they know the touring guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They really, even if we have an off weekend, we get those tracks, which we really appreciate those tracks that enter our weekly deal, because those guys that have an off week, or they just don't, maybe they don't have the budget to travel with us that weekend, or they just obviously don't, maybe not even feel like traveling, and they want to go to their weekly track or their home track, and they get points for just doing that. And, AJ Hicks, he got double the amount of Raymond Nichols.
Yep.
Raymond Nichols last year. The points fund doubled. So Raymond got the same amount of money, even though he got second place this year, which I just think that's a great deal for weekly. And I would, recognizing those drivers and their hard work, even when they're not even with the series sometimes.
Yeah, and maybe that's something we can make it a point to do this year, Allie, is if there's an off week, we can get out there and hit some of these weekly tracks and meet some of those drivers. We can go live and interview them and talk to them about what it's like for the weekly grind, because the weekly grind is really different from the touring grind. You and I travel all up and down the road. I mean, and our drivers that run the tour. But those drivers that run on the weekly side, they spend their time running every week. Touring guys will sometimes, if we're off, they'll take the week off. Those guys that run on the weekly side, they show up to their home track every week to compete for those weekly points.
Absolutely. So it's honestly, I'm going to call it the weekly grind. They go out there every week and they get those weekly points because they want that money at the end of the season. So I just think it's a good deal, and hopefully we can recognize some of those drivers. But our weekly deal, our touring deal, they said we need the gap.
Stevie says he's working on it for us, guys. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know, honestly. And Allie, we do have a TBA. We can go ahead and mention that for April the 30th. I wish I could say more. It's 10,000 to win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 10,000 to win. So hopefully we can announce that TBA here soon. But our weekly deal, our touring deal, our series in general, this podcast, it wouldn't be possible without any of our sponsors that we have. So here is a list of all our sponsors for the 2022 season.
Stay tuned after for bloopers and news on next week's show.
All right, welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Joseph, we went with the money winner, Dillon Brown. We've talked about our banquet. We talked about our Pigeon Forge venture. We've talked about our 2022 schedule a little bit, hinting at 2 specific races we're going to be running. And now it's time to admit how many times we messed up.
Yeah, tonight, Allie, I think I'm rubbing off on you. Because my buddy Jesse Raines always tells me that I say absolutely a lot when we're doing these shows.
I say absolutely anyway.
Maybe it was Shane Rico, but tonight you said absolutely just as much as I do.
Oh.
So
I'll do better on that because I don't want to do
that. So I've tried to stay away from it too, because if somebody points it out, So we also messed up in talking about our weekly deal, because we were supposed to talk about that during the second segment, and we failed at that. So, if you're here and enjoyed that, guys, give us some comments. There's 13 of you left here at the end of the show. Give us some comments. We want to have some fun with you tonight. So
ask us questions. You can even talk trash to us. We're tough skinned.
So if you're here watching us, talk to us. Rusty Webb's been here with us all night, Allie. He is one of the biggest supporters of the series. So, Rusty, I hope you don't mind that I share this with you. Or I share this, but sometimes I love you, Rusty. Sometimes Rusty gets mad at me. So when you're the race director, Allie, does that mean that Rusty's going to come get mad at you instead of me?
I hope not. I would like to think that Rusty decently likes me right now. So let's hope that me and Rusty can continue the friendship.
All right. So Tony has asked us if we would share about the Jesse Dillon Memorial Race. That was his brother that passed away at Willard Speedway. It's a super race. We have a crate race that night at Wartburg, but their super race is on May the 7th, and they're going to also have an award for the highest steel block finisher or crate finisher, $600. So not a bad little award there. Great way to pay tribute to his brother. And Tony sent me the ad for that. Tony, we can advertise that for you on the show if you want us to. Message us and we'll talk to you about it.
Absolutely.
Advertising that on the show for you. So I'll give you a shout out for sure. But we can have a whole segment dedicated to it and for advertising. So definitely send us a message on that. Rusty, I don't know if you're here to share and participate in the fun that I poked there. If you're still here, I hope that. I hope that we can have some fun with that. But 19, back up to 19 viewers, Allie. So even here at the blooper reel, an hour and 6 minutes into the show, we still got several people hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, sweet. So you just leave us comments. We'll talk about it, or comment back on and put your comment on the screen. We're really willing to interact with our fans that we have going on here.
All right, so Hal Furrow wants to let everybody know that I-75's racing. Hal, crates, I-75, it needs to happen. Make it happen. Who else?
Robert Garby, #1 fan.
That's right, #1 fan of the AAS. First race we ran on the go-kart track in Florida last April. Sandy blew an engine. Go-karts are fun. So Robert has participated in some go-kart racing. It would be really cool. I know some series do their banquets like at go-kart tracks, and they race with the racers. It would be really cool to set up an event like that where we could just all hang out with those that race with us and have a good time. Let's see what else.
Beth just joined. She says, "What's up?"
Candace, it's good to have you. We're here at the blooper reel, so if you want any recap of anything, we can tell you about it for sure if you ask. Josh, I feel like that. No, you don't stay mad at me, Rusty. That's right. We're buddies, and I appreciate that. So, Rusty is one of my favorite people to deal with at the racetrack because he does get upset sometimes, but he always is in a great mood the next week. It doesn't carry over. It's like the family atmosphere. He talked about that a lot at the banquet. And, sometimes you get mad at those people in your family, but they're still your family and you still love them. So, it always comes around. So Rusty, I appreciate you. You're a lot of fun to have with us. We're back up to 27 viewers here in the blooper reel, Allie. We're at one of the highest points we've been. So, I
want to comment on this. So I have an idea. Josh Thomas, we're going to put Joseph in a car. We're going to put his receiver in, and then we're going to give every driver the chance to talk to him through the receiver where he can't reply. What do you guys think about that? I think that is a perfect idea. Because all these drivers know they cannot reply to you until after the race. So it gives them a chance to say stuff, and you can't reply to them.
Josh is all about it. Josh put us on his stream for iRacing too, so appreciate Josh doing that. And I didn't even thought about it, but somebody could sponsor our blooper reels because I think we're going to have some fun with these blooper reels and hanging out with guys here. Tara wants to know, are we getting Allie a crown for my victory lane when she's carrying trophies?
I'm not the trophy girl.
You're the race director. Tell her.
Hopefully I'll be okay, but I plan to not make many visits to victory lane.
If you go down there, if you're in victory lane as the race director, something has probably went wrong.
Very, very wrong.
So, that's where that's going. David Thurman enjoyed racing with you Friday night, and he wishes the series good luck. So, Allie, you didn't know this till after the fact, but I told you after the fact that David used to race slot cars professionally.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and then I made a dumb comment to him. I said, they told me that he raced national, with big slot car races and stuff, and I asked, he had a FedEx sticker on his car, and I said, "Man, you got sponsors for that sucker." And then little did I know that you were a very big slot car racer, and I'm just some little mediocre one.
It's rookie. You're a rookie,
Yeah.
Allie.
Really terrible rookie.
Let's see. Now we've got 2 cars donated. We could be out there and we could have them both on the track at the same time together.
That may be a crap show. That would be awesome, though. So hopefully, we got to plan that. We got to get that together.
All right, who else we got here with us?
Rusty said he's going to throw you out on fuel.
Just going to leave that alone. Go on.
Oh, Randy. Be careful, Allie. You're going to be on the radio soon. I hope not.
I wonder what he's talking about.
I like music, but I just like listening.
Wonder what he's talking about.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Tara says that she figures that you can manage being a trophy girl and race director at the same time.
Nah.
You don't want to do both?
Not really.
You know, Allie, I said earlier you'd do anything at the racetrack, but I think trophy girl is the one thing that you won't do at the racetrack.
I don't really feel like being a trophy girl.
Or announcer. I think I asked you once about announcing at some point, and I don't think you're on board for that one either. So, you know, I think maybe once I get you race directed, I'll go over there with Walter, get on the mic, and
okay,
and do some announcing.
Okay,
I think that'd be great. Rock Crest Raceway is listening. Rock Crest, where is that, Robbie? Where is Rock Crest Raceway at? I don't know Rock Crest, so.
Doesn't everybody want to go to Victory Lane?
Oh, sorry. We clicked that at the same time.
I do want to go to Victory Lane, but I'd rather be. I would rather be in Victory Lane when I beat Joseph at go-karts, or winning the race when I get Josh Thomas or Robert Roberts' race car.
Out on the track.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on down through here. Rusty's going to be nice to you. So that means probably even if you do something wrong, he's going to come tell me about it.
Okay. Rusty, if you ever get mad at me, I'm just going to be like, that's Joe's problem.
We'll go here. Josh Thomas, for real though, we need both of you all on iRacing. Allie, maybe one weekend when you're up here running around in West Virginia, we can go to go get Rico's and Tyler Cox's setups and race here in West Virginia with our friends, on iRacing. I don't think that will go well either, but I'm not against it. It's just not going to be good. So we'll come back to David here in just a second. I want to jump down to this one. Just want to ask Robbie, so it's the old Twin Cities Speedway, North Vernon, Indiana. Hey, Robbie, how about a race in Indiana? We've got a tight relationship with Dirt to Media. They're from Indiana. Tyler Collins is from North Vernon.
Yep.
I'd be up for a non-points race in Indiana. How about you?
Me too. It's a lot more traveling, but it'd be a good time, that's for sure.
All right. So, Robbie, comment back. Tell us what you think. We'll come up there, do a non-points expedition race. Mm-hmm. Let's do something. All right. David Thurman says, doing great, Allie. Just need a little more seat time. Joe and Jesse Raines will get you dialed in.
Maybe Jesse Raines, because he's my car owner for the slot car track. So I don't think I did better than I did the first time. But you didn't get the chance to experience when I got 5th instead of 6th.
That's because there were less racers, Allie.
No, there wasn't. The guy quit, and that's his fault. He pulled him to pits.
That's right.
That still means I get 5th.
So, having a lot of fun with that, Robbie. I'm going to wait on your reply before we end this show tonight. We're in, man. We've actually talked to Ryan about running a crate race in Indiana, and I think that Twin Cities would be a great place to do it, or the new name of Rock Crest Raceway. So,
and Tara, she always has a way of telling us in the tower that we are the tower fairies, and we, like people down in the pits and the infield as the minions. But there's always a rule, and you are right, Tara. No matter what, it's always Joseph's fault.
Does she know you'll be telling her what to do once you're the race director?
I don't want to tell Tara. Tara knows.
You're scared of Tara?
No, I'm not scared of Tara. Me and Tara just get along. And I'm just gonna be like, I'll just say, Tara, how's the infield down there? Instead of, I always give her crap about being a tower fairy.
So yeah, you, Casey Bells, and I, and Walter are the tower fairies on the series. So, we've still got 19 viewers. Allie, this might be the best segment of the show.
Keep leaving us comments. We like talking to you guys, and she never listens to
There's the most truthful comment we've had on a video tonight.
Yeah, Tara, it's okay.
You tell Tara to show up at 3, rolls in at 7.
+4. Thanks, Mom. I love you.
Thanks, Allie's mom. Number 1 fan.
Maybe Robbie Wilson will send us a message on Facebook of the Indiana race.
Tony is announcing. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
Racers in Christ going to be in the house with us, hopefully, on April the 16th. That's awesome. He just sent me some messages about his some of his races, and he's going to be announcing for a series up to the north of us, the Steel Block Late Model Series that runs in Ohio and around in that area. We have that's a series that we kind of go into their territory. There's several Steel Block series in the areas and that we run in because we do have quite a wide range, but it works because everywhere we go, people in Knoxville can be to in about 4 hours. I mean, that's about the furthest out. Probably 4.5 for Natural Bridge because the guys tell me about that all the time. But I think
extra 30 minutes really does them in.
It does them in. That's right. So that kills them there doing that. There we go.
Justin knows how to get a hold of me. Have him get a hold of me and go to
so
Raceway.
Let's just go ahead and send that over to our good friend Ryan Boland. Ryan, are you watching us tonight? If you are, you need to read this message and pass it along.
Yep.
So we'd love to come there and run. We have a great following of racers. I think I could probably twist a couple guys' arms from the south to come up and run with us. Rusty Webb, Rusty likes to follow us. So even if it's an non-points race. So, and he's got his number on there. So Robbie, we are going to be getting a hold of you because I think this would be great.
We need a video.
Well, Jesse Rush won't race with us. So maybe she can be the videographer.
You know what I'll do? I'll just get a GoPro. That'll prove that I win the race.
Robbie, look at that. We're going to have you a Knoxville-based team there that's already said they'll come. So, this is looking better and better. So we've got all that going right now. So we're excited about that. Allie, we're at 24 viewers. I hate to turn the show off because we got so many people. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is going to be a good one.
So, Tyler, you know that Joseph's a decently picky eater, and I'm not even sure if he eats corn dogs, but those were not provided on the menu from the CEO. So.
You know what? We said that sometimes we might just send these out. So I'm going to send this out and see if we can get a response. Because I think we need to hear about this live.
What?
What?
I don't know what you're doing.
Well, that's why you're the host of the show, Allie.
Rusty said you can drive his second car, but you need damage clause.
Ask him. I wonder what the damage clause insurance is because So Tony tells us good night. I guess he's out with us for tonight, but Rusty, have you ever done a live video? Do you think you could come do one of these with us one week? We got your driver with us next week. Think I'm going to pass on driving the number 2 Rusty Webb car.
22.
Well, I meant the number 2, the backup car. Yeah. So
Sure.
Rusty will do a live with us sometime, so that will be fun. We got his driver coming on next week. Have we even told everybody that our guest next week is going to be
the show?
Oh, that's right. Okay, he won't curse.
Well, Rusty, that's the reason we don't have Jesse Raines on here is because we're scared that he's going to cuss and we'll just have to kick him out. All right, Joseph.
Well, Allie, we've had a great show tonight. I did send out an invite for somebody to come join here with us last minute, but
who is it?
They didn't click in. They might be busy. They might be busy there tonight. So
Webb said bleep us.
Bleep us. I think you have an app for that, don't you, Allie?
I have an app for that, but it has to be a pre-recorded video, and we are currently live, so that would be nowhere. I couldn't do that.
You couldn't pull that off?
Mm-mm.
Well, that's just no good.
Yeah. We may be able to record a segment, Rusty. And then if it ends up being bad, I'll edit it. That way we look like a good mannerly people.
So Tyler asked us about the corn dogs, and we had a corn dog contest this year, and Rusty will be good. So, one thing about the corn dog deal, somebody brought me corn dogs. I don't even remember how this all happened. We were at Ice, and we'll share this story before we end the show. Okay. So Tyler and Logan had been back and forth about corn dogs. I don't even remember what happened. Somebody was going to knock somebody out in the corn dog stand and, make it fun. So we've got our guest here so he can tell us. And this was the whole point of this show, that sometimes we could bring somebody in and have some fun. Now, his internet's not always the best, but we're going to hope that it'll work. Hi, Tyler.
What's up?
So this is a last minute addition to the show tonight, here in the blooper reel, as we're going to call it. Probably the best segment of the show every week. I think it's going to be anyways. This is the time we go past our hour that we schedule to run our show. But you mentioned the corn dog contest. Let's revisit that, because we had a lot of fun back in the day. This past season, when you were still a pro late model driver before you moved on to new adventures.
Anything to pick at Logan. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's corn dogs or, whatever, outrunning him or whatever, anytime you can pick at him, it's good stuff.
That's right. So do you remember what happened at Isom with the corn dogs and the corn dog contest? Then we'll talk about you moving up to the sprint car world.
I don't think I'm going to be going to any sprint cars. I'll tell you that. He's got a few things to learn, but I don't even remember how the corn dog contest came about. But there's a picture floating around of Logan, and his corn dogs there.
That's right. And Cody Early's glad to see you come in with us tonight too.
What's up, dude?
So Tyler, appreciate you coming on last minute for a few seconds with us. You're moving on to the sprint car world, apparently, according to Josh Patch. The corn dog, this did make the banquet slideshow. It was on the show.
You were featured at the banquet with the corn dogs. Yeah.
Even though you're retired.
At least
So even though you're a retired pro late model driver, you were featured. But Tyler, this is great that you joined us. We're going to probably do this, send out some invites from time to time, and have some fun. So appreciate you coming on with us here last minute.
Don't worry. That shirt's still good, buddy. Don't worry about it.
So, have you told people your plans for 2022? Do they know about what you're doing for real?
Some people do, some people don't. We haven't really put a whole lot out there, but I was going to say, I don't know how to turn this thing around, but I'm standing at the car right now. Hold on. Oh, no, that was turning the camera off. Front camera. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
There we go. She's coming together pretty nice, Let me turn back around here. I don't know what y'all are laughing at, but all right, anyway. Yeah, we're going to try to do some super racing. Just something that kind of came up that I had the opportunity to do, and we're going to make the best of it while we can, see what becomes of it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's right. Allie, maybe you'll get the chance to race direct a super race for Tyler at some point.
Like I said, I hope Tyler doesn't hate me as well. So maybe we'll do it just like you. You're just a little harder on Tyler than everybody else.
There you go.
It's okay. What does Cody said here? Yeah, let's see. He's going to rewind, take NASCAR starting back. Oh, Lord. Well, Cody, we've kind of been fooling around with the go-karts some last fall while we didn't have nothing else to do. And I remember why I left go-kart racing. I'm not going back there.
Is Tracy going to be a professional go-kart racer, or are you just going to put her in a big car eventually?
Neither.
I got you.
It's been a trip here this winter. We've been getting a lot of things together to go race this year, and she's going to try to race a little bit. And of course, we've got this supercar we're putting together, and it's going to be a lot of racing this year, I think, for us. And of course,
Absolutely.
Dave that helps me. We've got his youngest daughter that's we're kind of bringing her into the racing stuff now on go-karts, and so we're going to be tied up with that and try to super race, and it's going to be a full schedule, so we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rusty says it's daylight when you leave tech in the go-kart world. Tyler, I appreciate you jumping in here with us. After a fun comment, I just wanted to bring you in and have some fun. That's what this last segment of the show is for. So, Tyler, thanks for jumping in with us tonight.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, man. See you now.
See ya.
All right, Joseph. What did Cody say? I left it because we showed up with a cart and lawnmower trailer and parked beside a toter that had 12 carts in it. I didn't even unload. We went and ate corn dogs in Dublin Valley. That's a great story, Cody.
So, Cody was a former kart racer himself, a great announcer now. So, we've got a couple drivers that have offered cars, so we might make that happen.
I may get in a late model, Mom. I want the iRacing software, though, so if you want to buy that for me, go ahead.
It's more than just the software, Allie. I learned. I bought a laptop just to run it, but you have to have all that other stuff. Yeah.
The software, the steering wheel, the pedals, all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not going to probably ever get into that professionally. And honestly, Allie, if you race, you can't be race directing for us. So I think we need you, and some other people in the sport are going to need you very soon. So I don't want to ruin your dreams of racing a car, but we sure like having you as part of the series.
Okay. I'll put off my racing career. Well, Joe, we hinted at it when we were talking to Rusty through the comments. Next week, we will be having the touring champion for 2021, Logan Roberson, or Robertson. Is it Robertson?
He tells me different every time I ask him.
Logan Roberson / Robertson. He is going to be our special guest for next week's show. So tune in next Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Joseph, you have anything else for our 19 viewers?
I don't. It was a great show tonight, Allie. If you're just tuning in, come on back next week. We'll be here at 7:30 next week. Allie and I actually spend a good few hours prepping the show on, we'll usually do it on Sunday nights. We did it today because we spent yesterday playing. But, we do spend a lot of time, put a lot of effort into this show. And we hope that you'll share it and get the word out and get us some more people following this deal. Roberts, one last thing there. Are we going to pick a track or going to have to draw from a hat to figure out where we're going to get in his car at? So it looks like he's serious, Allie.
I feel bad for him that he's actually serious.
So, the last time I had a sponsor one time ask me, they wanted to sponsor the race if their wife could get out in, or it was wife or girlfriend, I don't remember what it was, out in somebody's car for a little bit. So we had a practice night scheduled for that race. So we had a driver agree to it, and she went around at about, or maybe it was, I don't remember what it was, but she went about 10 miles an hour every time she went out. So that I have seen it happen, and that's probably about where we'll be.
So Black Diamond Gaming, I'll start getting some shares out for y'all's podcast. We appreciate that. We're trying to get this a pretty big deal, and we're going to eventually get up to our season and do some weekly recaps of the races we run on the weekends. And then Joshua Patch, it was probably a wife and a girlfriend.
That's lovely to share.
That'd be an interesting story.
Yeah. So next week's our live iRace too. Don't forget that will be next Wednesday. Allie, you and I are going to also hop on the podcast. We're going to stream the race. Cody, we're gonna mess you up here. I'm sorry, my friend, but we're going to stream the race onto and mute it on our end, and we're going to call it live as like color commentators, kind of like Peyton and Eli do for ESPN.
Yeah. So we're super excited about our race. We still have how many spots open?
5 spots are open or so.
5 spots open for $60 a piece for our iRace. If we do not fill those spots, the payout will have to be reduced. So everybody, if you race iRace and you're not entering our race or our Winter Clash at Winterville Speedway, enter that and then tune in Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next episode of Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. And that is the dirt with Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.